Hi everybody, this is Pam with Jesusjunkjournals. I am back, and so let me pick up where I left off, if I can figure it out. So I was working on the Fruit of the Spirit journal, and I was requested by a family member to make a journal for my sister for her 80th birthday. So it turned into this, it kind of grew and turned into a big, very big project. And at the same time, I was trying to do this journal, and I kind of got confused at the end because I was trying to do too many things at once. And finally, I just stopped on this journal, and I had to go and finish hers. Well, I'm back now, and I'm picking up the pieces, and I'm trying to figure out where did I leave off. So, well, as it turns out, I just found another signature that I did not get sewn in to this spine. So apparently, where I left off was I sewed 3 signatures to this spine, and I should have sewn 4. So what I'm going to do is cut this middle one out and move it over and put another one in there next to it. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'll come back. Okay, here we are. I'm back, and I got my 4 signatures in now, spaced pretty evenly on the spine, and I got them all right side up, which is always a plus. And it looks like it's going to work out. So I also found that I had already built the frame, so thank goodness. So now I'm looking for, well, I'm not looking for, I went and looked for the fabric to put on the cover, and I decided to use this. I had a piece of upholstery fabric. I got a remnant from somewhere. This looks like something from back in the 80s. But it's super heavy because it's like I said, an upholstery fabric. So it should work really well. So I'm gonna take a piece of it, if I can find the end of it, and I'm just gonna allow some to overlap on each side and just kind of draw. You always, if you do this, be sure you realize that when you wrap fabric, like this is flat, so your fabric's, if you cut it out and then you suddenly decide to fold it like you're going to do for a journal, it's going to take more fabric to wrap around those corners. So you would never want to cut it too short on the edges, because it's gonna take up space when you fold it. So add a little bit of extra for that. And then let me grab a marker, and I'm just gonna do, well, you can tell it's not quite square. That looks a little bit better. Okay. So I'm gonna come out this far, and I'll cut a notch, and kind of easy because there's a line of thread right there. Well, I say that, except that it's not quite square, so I'm going to do that, and then there's that. And I'll cut this notch right there. And let me see if I can get away with using my dollar scissors. This is some heavy duty fabric. I'm so stingy with my, stingy, and then I'm lazy because I don't want to get up, but my fabric scissors. I got 2 pair of fabric scissors, and I hardly ever use them because, first of all, I don't want to have to get up and go get them. And then I have to go and put them away right away so I don't screw up and use them on paper. So it ends up that they never get used. And then the other reason is because I don't want to ruin them. And this fabric is so thick. Although it's actually cutting really nice with these cheap scissors. Probably because it is so thick. Corners are always kind of my downfall. because I don't like to have bare cardboard showing, and so many times that's what happens. I'm going to cut it like that, because when you fold these two sides, you end up with a bare corner if you're not careful. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but okay. So let me get this out of the way. So what I'm talking about the corners is when I fold this in and this over, if I'm not careful, sometimes the cardboard will stick out. So I left this little this little cheat tab here just for insurance, and you can always get that to cover the corner. And I didn't do it on this one or this one. Or yeah, I did on that one. I guess I did it on 3 of them. So anyway, if you don't do that, if you just do this and fold it, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But I have to be a little crazy and do something that makes it hard. Okay, so now I need my batting or my padding. So let me grab that. Okay, so this is a piece of batting for a baby quilt that I got off of Amazon. And it's just very thin cotton batting. And I'm just going to cut a piece of that. It just adds a little bit of heft, a little bit of body to the cover. You know, you've seen books where it's just straight hard cardboard with paper glued to it, and then you've had ones that are just slightly, have a little bit of something going on, and that's what I want. So I'm going to cut it just a little bit smaller. It doesn't have to be exact. It won't, you won't be able to tell, especially with this heavy fabric. So hopefully this will give me enough of a line that I can cut it. Yes. So there's that. And so I'm going to glue that to, let's see, I think I'll let this be the inside. So I'll put this on the outside. My lovely corn box. Buying things at Sam's Club pays off sometimes, huh? Because you can use the cardboard on the cases of vegetables and fruit and so on. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this glue just to kind of hold it in place, and lay this over it. And then I'll take this and fold it. Make sure it's smoothed out. And see it, like I said, it moves when you wrap it around a corner. So I'm going to put it there and then fold it. Make sure I've got it. And then I have extra, so I'll just trim that off. And then you're ready for the fabric. And let me get some clamps ready. This big heavy fabric is good and bad. It's like, it's nice because it covers up a lot of imperfections, but it's kind of hard to handle because it's so stiff. But I think we're gonna, let me get this exactly where it needs to go. And see, it doesn't want to lay flat, so you got to clamp it and force it to do what you want it to do. And you can tighten it down at the bottom by pulling on it. So I'm going to let that dry for a little bit. and then I'll come back and do the other sides. Okay, let's see if this glues pretty fast. That wasn't stuck down. I think I can go on, and I'll pull this one now pretty tight. And then I'm going to flip it over to make sure I've got it smooth. And again, I think if I pull this out, it'll be the side ones that I pull out. And then when I fold it, that should smooth everything out. So I think I'm good. So I'm going to let that dry. Okay, let me unclamp that and do the sides. And then, like I said, when I fold it, that'll take up some slack too. So, let me get my little tab in here. Okay. And that, I'm going to cut that at an angle. Okay. Pull that down. That Fabri-Tac is something else. Okay. And then down here, same thing. Get my little tab tucked in here. I didn't do it on the bottom, apparently. Okay, and let that glue. And then, so then what we're going to do is we're going to glue our bind with the signatures sewn in. We're going to glue that down. Actually, I could do that right now too. And here's my line and my line. And so I just want to get this centered, top to bottom, side to side, so that I have equal amount of space on each side. And I'm going to push this down and get a couple of clamps and then clamp this. Wow, that is a tight clamp. Okay, we'll let that sit for a little bit, and then we will come back, and what we're going to do is do our inliners, which is the paper that lines this inside here and on the back. And I've picked out this very white textured paper. I got this at Walmart a few years ago. I'm a little leery because it's so white, it's going to show any kind of dirt or anything, but it's nice because of the texture. It will cover any kind of lumps and bumps and mishaps that I've got going on there. So that's the plus side of it. So anyway, that's what I'm going to use. So let's let this dry and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to take my clamps off. And I'm going to go ahead and cut my paper. Okay, grab a pencil. So I think like here. I don't want to take this clamp off yet, but looks like about here. As long as it covers my fabric, it's all I care about. So, and measure. We'll actually cut it, try to be as square as we can be. So it looks like 6 1/4. Come down here, 6 1/4, and cut it out. And then I'll just trace around this one. If it fits, we'll check it. So that will be. Don't want to cover that fold. Now that I think about it, I kind of want to have washi tape there because it's the flexibility of going back and forth on that fold. So I need to actually redo this and make it just a little narrower. So let's see, something like that actually. Okay. Let's see if I can cut it straight even though I didn't draw a straight line. turn it around because that's a straight edge. And yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this in, and I'm going to use my PVA glue, I think. I want it to stick really well along the edges, so, and the corners. And then the rest is not as important. This is a little tricky because it's textured paper, so you don't want to smash the texture out of it. So, all right, and then I'm going to put it really close to the edge. And so that's really just a cover paper to cover up all of the ugly part that you've just done when you covered the front of your cover. And then this, I'm going to use washi tape because it's flexible and it'll bend easier around that corner, I think. Let's see, let me check that width. Yeah, that'll be perfect. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of glue, even though it's got glue, because it's may or may not be archival, I don't know. Okay, and then I'm gonna push it up against that and then let it fall where it may on the paper here. Okay. And then I'll want another washi tape there, but I'm going to go ahead and do this back cover first. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Yeah. Okay, well, let me see. Do I have enough? I do. All right. Let me just measure this. So we've got those two side pieces in. So now we need to go back and do the parts that are in between the signatures. So I need to find a tape that's the right width. It is what it is. It's stuck down there now. Okay, and honestly it's fine because all you see, it's just for when you go through it, it's just so you don't see bare cardboard, which actually there's nothing wrong with bare cardboard. You could be content with letting that be there, but why do that when you can put more stuff in, right? So this is pretty narrow too, boy. I'm gonna change my mind and do a different tape. And like I said, since it's just to keep from having cardboard show, I'm just going to use this kind of random washi tape with acorns on it that I don't think I've ever used before. Why not? Okay. Okay, and then that sort of covers this up here. If you wanted to get really about this strip up here, you could just run another piece of washi tape over that, which, do I want to do that? It looks okay at the bottom, but the top looks kind of funny, so I think I might. Yeah, I'll use this one. So washi over washi. This is a Tim Holtz washi tape, just a narrow one. And there's that. Okay. All right, so we have this bound and looks pretty smooth. All the folds came out. So that looks good. There's one right there that's, I think, will come out with time once it's sitting around for a little while. So I'm going to end this video, and then on the next one we'll come back and we'll start to put the things into the journal. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.